Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for The Boys Season 3. In this video I will give my review of Season 3 of The Boys, so I'll have to start with a spoiler warning for The Boys up to the very end of Season 3. If you have not seen all of Season 3, you will not want to watch this video, otherwise some things will be spoiled for you. So, I hate to be that stick in the mud with the unpopular opinion, but hey, I'm always gonna be honest. I'm not as shrill. I don't just tell you what you want to hear in order to get more views and likes. I give my honest opinion, and let me say, I did not hate Season 3 of The Boys. I did not think it was a terrible season, but it does appear that a lot of people, based on the other reviews and other opinions I've heard about this season, that a lot of people like this season a lot better than me. The word I would probably use to describe this season is disappointing, particularly the season finale. Now, here's the thing, so I was actually, the way Season 2 ended, it made me not very excited for Season 3. Because I was when Season 1 ended, I was extremely excited for Season 2 because I thought, oh my god, the boys are in constant threat of their lives. They're on the run, even though they're on the right. And then Season 2 kind of ended with this sort of status quo ending where, the boys aren't on the run, they got their names cleared, now they're working with the government to help curtail the superheroes, and it just, I don't know, it just made me feel like it reminded me a bit about The Walking Dead, where the story was just going to drag out forever and ever and ever, and that's exactly how Season 3 ended as well. And so I'm, again, not that excited for the show. But I will say, I didn't start watching Season 3 when it first came out because I wasn't very excited for it. I was maybe 2 or 3 weeks into its run. I'm like, I guess I'll just check out The Boys, see how it's going. And I loved it. It drew me in. It got me excited for the show again. I was like, holy shit, this thing is good. Now, I think some of the stuff that the show does, particularly the shrinking man scene in episode 1, is too much of they go out of their way to be to have shock value and to be oh, look how shocking we are, which is fine. That's their staple. But I don't know, it gets a bit old, I think. And I think even though they try to do, bigger, more gross, absurd things to shock you, and certainly succeeded with that shrinking man scene, but I'm still kind of over it. I'm kind of yeah, you're trying to be shocking, I get it. Now, it did draw me in, as I said, because is set up a really exciting situation where the team was sort of hanging on a thread. Hugh finds out that Councilwoman Newman, who he's working for, is actually the head popper. And then the Homelander sort of gets a stranglehold on Vault. He corners Starlight into pretending to be in a relationship with him, and he's tightening his grip over everything. So it's setting up this situation that's really intense at how they're going to get out of. Now, I do remember, and I recall saying to a friend as Season 3 was airing, in the middle of Season 3, that I was loving Season 3, that was super intense, but the way that they set up the story, particularly having to deal with this impossible situation with Homelander, that Homelander needs to die in order for the season to be good. And I kind of knew that they wouldn't commit to that, and sure enough, they didn't. But they were even less committal than I thought they would be, because nobody died. They couldn't even commit to killing off fucking Soulja Boy. They didn't kill off Queen Maeve. Nobody dies. So that really made me lose all interest, that there's no stakes, because I feel like if they did more of a Game of Thrones type situation where characters die right and left, that would be more interesting. I know they would take the risk. And look, everyone loves Homelander as a villain. He's a great villain. The actor does an amazing job playing him. But I think you can only take him so far. And I think that would have been the perfect place to kill him off. And I don't care if it's happened in the comics or not, because this is a show. You don't have to follow the comics exactly. In fact, the issue is shows like The Walking Dead following the comics exactly, because comics go on and on and on and on and on. And I don't think shows should do that, which is why I gave up on The Walking Dead, because it just dragged out for fucking ever. It's just repeating the same beats over and over and over again. Comics is a different format. It's a different medium. You can do that because you're not really expected to buy, unless you're a super fan, to buy every single comic, but you are going to watch every episode of a show, especially in the modern era where there's less episodes per season. So you can't just drag the story out forever the way you can in the comics. At least not for me. That's not what I'm interested in. I like finite stories. And this, you can have, like, that doesn't mean you have to end The Boys, because I always think of the show Narcos, where the first 2 seasons was about Pablo Escobar, and he was what made the show. He's why people tuned into the show. He was the center of the show. He was this really great, fleshed out, evil character that you wanted to see his downfall. And then season 2 ended with him, and a lot of people thought, well, that's it, the show's over now. But they did a season 3, which in my opinion was just as good as the first 2 seasons, and it didn't even have Escobar and focused on entirely different characters, but it kept that heart of what made the show great. Now, let's not talk about Narcos Mexico. We'll leave that out of the conversation. But Narcos season 3 managed to be just as great even without Escobar, and I think the same could be true for The Boys. I think The Boys could be just as good without Homeland. In fact, I think it could be better, because not that I think Homelander's a bad villain. He's great, but his story is finite, and they're dragging it out for way too long, and I've lost interest. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if I'm going to watch The Boys season 4. Maybe I'll tune in after, some morbid curiosity, but that's only going to get me so far, because that's how I was watching The Walking Dead for several seasons, but eventually even that gave away, and I just stopped watching it entirely. And all these, like, side projects, spin-off shows of The Boys, I'm not going to watch those. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in The Boys Academy. And they had these, like, things with the short animated. And I watched a couple of them. I'm like, yeah, this is just typical shock value nonsense. Like, and I gave up on that one, too. So I'm not really into this franchise building that they're trying to do with the show, to be honest. Now, look, there were good things that I liked about the season. I loved the storyline with the Temp V and how Butcher was. I think the character story with Butcher I thought was amazing, and how the episode where he got stuck inside his head and had to relive the events of how he let his younger brother down, and how he transferred those feelings to Hugh, and how Hugh just didn't want to leave him stuck like that forever and risk his life to save him. And then eventually, like, at first, Butcher was going to lie to Huey about the fact that the Tim V was going to kill him, but then eventually, like, punched him as a way to save his life, and later Huey recognized that. I like the how Huey got power hungry when he was able to have these powers by using the Temp V, and the rift that created between him and Starlight, because he was turned into a bit of an asshole. Him and Starlight, their relationship to me has always been one of the strengths of the show. And the whole Soulja Boy thing was interesting. Of course, it really reminded me a lot of the Winter Soldier more than Captain America. And kind of like his whole group, that reminded me a lot of the Watchmen. Which The Boys has for a lot. It's very similar to The Watchmen overall, but in particular, that group reminded me of the group of The Watchmen in the Watchmen comics and movies. So it didn't really seem as fresh. And I was really digging this, like, the episode where Soulja Boy, Butcher, and Huey the two of them on Tim V, all teamed up on Homelander and nearly killed him. Like, that was fucking exciting. Like, I loved that. That was so great. It was so great to see this arrogant ass who was always, his entire life, the most powerful man around, that no one could even come close to defeating him, and he almost got killed. And to see how that scarred him, and how the next episode of Starlight pointed out, hey, you're scared. So that I actually thought was amazing, but they kind of undid it when they brought in the storyline of Soulja Boy being Homelander's father. That made everything less interesting, because now Soulja Boy didn't want to kill Homelander and wanted to look at him as a son, and Homelander didn't want to kill Soulja Boy and needed the father figure. And that, I thought, made everything a hell of a lot less interesting. To be perfectly honest, I think they could have continued on with the moral dilemma that they were setting up, where Butcher would have to sacrifice all these people in order to kill Homelander, and Starlight didn't think that was right and wanted to stop them. And I don't like the wishy-washy thing, how they had Maeve was on the Starlight's side, and then all of a sudden she switched to Butcher's side. Like, I don't know. Like, that kind of annoys me when they have characters wishy-washy. But getting specifically to the finale, I think it was really disappointing. Because, alright, so I did like when Soulja Boy was going to kill Homelander, saying, like, you're just a wimp or whatever, and he started acting the way his father acted to him, which I thought was really ironic and really interesting storytelling. But here's the thing, I have a major issue with this scene in the finale, because the Homelander's son, I'm blanking on his name, but he shows up, and Soulja Boy hurts him as a way to get to Homelander, and because he came in and tried to attack Soulja Boy to save Homelander, so Soulja Boy strikes against him, and Butcher gets pissed off and starts attacking Soulja Boy, and then we have this huge fight where it splinters off. We get a big fight between Soulja Boy and Butcher, and a big fight between Maeve and Homelander. First of all, we know that Maeve can't defeat Homelander, so why are they going to have that fight? That's really not interesting. Secondly, why doesn't Butcher just tell the boy, Paul is his name or something? Whatever his name is, why doesn't he just tell him to leave and go to a different floor and then proceed to help Soulja Boy kill Homelander? Like, and push him away, or tell Huey to teleport him to a different level or whatnot. That would make more sense. Why does he turn on Soulja Boy and start attacking him, trying to kill him? Why doesn't he just say, hey, leave the boy alone, I will send him away so you can kill Homelander? That would make way more sense. That would fit with his character. Him attacking and trying to kill Soulja Boy, even though Soulja Boy is still his only chance to kill Homelander. So the fact that he would turn on him makes zero sense to me. It makes no sense, and I think it's a major plot hole. And it was just done there for plot convenience, because they wanted this big fight between Soulja Boy and Butcher, and because they're non-committal, because they weren't willing to kill Homelander, and they weren't even willing to fucking kill Soulja Boy. And I think I'm kind of done with this show, to be honest, after that finale, because they're just... Because, not that the show is terrible, but because it's just going to tread water. That this is what it's told me with this finale. It's going to tread water. It's going to be like The Walking Dead. There's going to be no consequences. There's going to be no events. It's just a lot of stuff is going to happen, but no one's really going to get hurt or killed. And they're just going to be running through the same things over and over again. And I got no interest in watching that. And again, I gotta be frank with that. I really think, had they committed to killing off Homelander and then making this huge moral rift between Butcher and Huey, that would have been a way better season. Like, I would have given this season a 9 out of 10. And it would have been set up for a great next season as well, because then you would have to deal with the fallout, with the aftermath of the vacuum of Homelander not being there, and the rift that was created between Butcher and Hugh. And is Hugh going to choose Butcher, or is he going to choose Starlight? That's a lot of very fascinating, interesting aspects that you could go into. But instead, they have this thing where the Deep kills the senator and the fucking Newman. Oh, the whole thing with Congressman Newman, they kind of undersell that. Like, they set that up as a big thing, but she barely appeared in the season. But they're setting up where she's teaming up with Homelander to become the new vice president or whatever. And so that's the big, setup for the next season. And I'm just not interested in that, to be honest, because they didn't do anything with her this season. So why would I care about them passing the buck to the next season? And, to me, it would have been far more fascinating. It would be much better storytelling if they fucking committed to killing off Homelander. And I know he's a great villain, I know he's played by a great actor, and I know it would be missing from the show, but it would be much better storytelling. And me personally, I know maybe not everyone would feel the same. I would be way more interested to see season 4 if this was the case. But now, the fact that I know they're just going to tread water and they're not going to commit to anything, I might quit. It makes me have zero interest in watching the next season. But, that's just me. So my rating for The Boys Season 3 out of 10 is a 7. Very good. I do have to give it a 7 because, as I said, they had some really exciting stuff. Really good character stories. Like the character story between Frenchie and... what's her face? That was interesting as well. So there's good stuff sprinkled in there, but just the main story didn't really go anywhere, and they really didn't do anything. And the other thing that bothered me about this season was the fact that it's mainly the season became about Butcher cleaning up his own mess, because he's the one who got Soulja Boy, and eventually the end of the season is all about defeating Soulja Boy, but he got Soulja Boy in the first place in order to kill Homelander, and I think they lost track. Like, the whole thing with him attacking Soulja Boy, he lost track, he lost sight of the ball. The point was to kill Homelander. And so then the season just became about Butcher cleaning up his own mistake, which I have zero interest in. I really did not find that is not an interesting premise to me. So anyway, that is it for my review of season 3 of The Boys. I don't know if I'm going to watch season 4. We'll see. I'll have to see how I'm feeling. Sometimes I say I'm going to watch a season and next season of a show, and I don't. And sometimes I say I'm not going to, and then I do. We'll have to see what I'm feeling like when the next season comes out. I'll probably watch it out of curiosity, but I just have zero interest in it. Anyway, that is it for my review of season 3 of The Boys. You can check out my channel as I cover many other shows like The Expanse, Better Call Saul, Westworld, all things Star Trek, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.